Up for an early morning walk. Up for an early morning walk around the track. I don't know. Some days I wake up and I just don't feel like adulting, you know? Does anybody else have those days where you just feel like, I don't want to adult? You just, you know, think about the good times when you were younger and you didn't have to adult. You had no worries, no cares, other than what you wanted to be a worry or a care, but things such as going to work and having a job and taking care of kids if you have any, or taking care of your pet kids if you're a pet mom or dad, or your stepkids, or whatever, your husband or wife, or just your elders if you're taking care of them. Some days you just don't feel like adulting. And that's kind of like how I feel today. I don't feel like adulting. I woke up and I was like, you know what? For most people, going out and just doing what you feel like you want to do would be considered irresponsible. But for me, it feels like following my true self. And what following my true self consists of is not being so serious about everything, just being playful. And what I mean by being playful is sometimes your spirit is just not on adulting. Because when you think about adulting, it's so serious. Everything has got to be structured. Everything has got to be done like this. Everything has got to be done like that. Everything's got to be in line. Everything's got to go according to the schedule. It's got to be on time. But I found that during my spiritual journey, what helps me to be my best and authentic self is when I just go with the flow of guys and just taking in nature and just enjoying life on life terms. People watching and looking at other people enjoy not adulting. And some people can't even fathom not adulting. They would be like, this would be like a controversial topic for them. What do you mean you're not adulting? What do you mean? Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, but yeah, there is a such thing as not adulting, because you don't have to be on, per se, the beat of life every single day. You can own beat, a different drama. I remember when I was a kid, well, I was a part of this dance academy, and as a matter of fact, I'm still a part of this dance academy, but I'm an alumni. And we actually had a piece called Different Drama. And in this piece, everyone had their costumes were different, and every aspect of the way. The costumes were different, but they coordinated, so they were the same. And each piece in this choreography was where every group or individual was actually doing something totally different from the other. But there was a point when the group would come together and do something of the same choreography. But then again, they would break off individually or in groups of twos or sometimes threes and do something totally different, but still that group of people would be doing something of the same. So the only person in this choreography that was actually dancing or doing something to their own person, when that person broke off and just started doing their thing, there was no one else involved. They didn't have a per se a partner in this choreography at this particular point. And throughout this choreography, you would see that single individual break away from the group or per se from the norm of life and just dance to a different beat, dance to a different drama. And every now and then they would get back together with the group and they would do something of the same. And that's how life is. And you have the freedom and you have the right to do things not the same. And that's what I loved so much about that particular piece that we danced to, was that once you broke free, if that was a part of your choreography in that piece, once you broke free from the group and you started to do this single choreography, you could put as much energy or as less energy into it as you wanted. You can even improvise if you wanted, because guess what? There was no one to tell you to stay in the lines. It was your thing. It was your beat. It was you dancing to your own different drama. And it just relates to not adulting today. You know, not adulting means living life on your own terms, not marching to the regular beat of life. I'm out here today, this morning on this track, and there's not many people out here. You know why? Because most people are doing the same thing. Most people are going about their daily lives doing what society expects from them, doing what motherhood or fatherhood or whatever expects from them. They would dare to step outside of the box and just dance or just live to a different beat, to a different drama. And I wish more people would take that into consideration of stepping outside of what people per se thinks is the norm. There's a beautiful lake here. And if I wanted to, I could just veer off the path of the track that I'm on and just go down to the lake. But that's not what I particularly come here to do today. But I have veered off my path to dance or to do something totally different than what the norm is. And that's okay. But so many people, judgment, so many people fear what other people will think if they don't do what society wants them to do. So they stay stuck in a box, doing the same things over and over again, even though they're living in depression, even though they're living unhappy, even though they're gaining weight, even though their health is declining, they still feel like they have to stay in the box. They still feel like if they do something different, they won't be accepted by society or their parents or their spouses or sometimes even their own kids. Because some people actually do live their lives in a specific way because of their kids. Now, I'm not saying to go out and just do things that will cause you to be, people can use against you. That's what I'm saying. No, what I'm saying is choose something different, no matter what it is. Choose something different on a daily basis. Like, even if it's like taking a different route home, start there. Even if it's using, if you're right-handed, use your left hand to brush your teeth. If you're left-handed, do the opposite. Do everything the opposite. Or choose one thing that you do the same every day and do it totally the opposite. Or don't do it at all. And that's the definition of not adulting. Because as a kid, we didn't do anything the same. Every day was an adventure. Every day was something different. Every day we were getting into something. But we got so used to our parents programming us and chastising us, telling us that no, 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 don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. And with that, we just started to close off that part of ourselves. Stop being venturous. Stop doing things that made us happy so that we can fit into what society accepts, so that we can fit into what makes our parents happy. And we just stop, per se, living a free life. So now it's all about adulting. Every time we wake up in the morning and put our feet on the ground, it's about adulting. And today, I'm urging you and encouraging you to not adult, because you don't have to. Whatever your life leads you, in whatever direction, you don't have to stay in a box. I encourage you today to It just felt weird
not
practicing.
adults.
And then it was like,
And
all of
be
a sudden
okay
my
with that.
hands started
I
talking. So
encourage
I
you
wanted to
today
play. Like, I'm not playing.
to
And then it wouldn't
dance to a different drama in your life because it's okay. You know, when I was a part of that dance corporation when I was a kid, it just brought so much joy in my life. But when you're not putting energy and time into yourself, at the end, you don't become any use to anyone else. Because how can you stay strong when you don't have a place to go for your own support? How can you stay sane when you don't have a friend or a therapist or a peer coach that you can talk to? How can you pour into someone else when you don't have anyone that's willing to pour into you? And that's how we get to be a society that isn't upgrading, but we're descending because we're getting advice from people that are pouring from an empty cup. So you're telling the same stories, knowledge, or expanded your circle to learn some new and different things to teach the next generation. So we're still stuck running off of the same fumes because we're not running off of fuel anymore because we've already used all the fuel. So now we're just running off of fumes. So we're having fragments of conversations. We're having fragments of memories. We're telling fragments of stories because we've been also affected by life. So when you don't adult, you give yourself that space to expand. You give yourself that space to grow. You give yourself that space to refill. And we need that as people. We need that as a society. Because adulting all the time can be really, really draining mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Because where do you go to get your wellness? Where do you go to refill your cup? Do you have a therapist? Do you have a peer coach? Do you have a life coach? Do you have someone that can pour back into you? Do you have someone that will listen to you without judgment? Because one thing about it, mental health is real. Mental health is real. And we see it every day with professional athletes and with regular people around us. We know that mental health is real because people have mental and psychosis breaks every single day. And we try to figure out why. And the why is because they had no outlet. They had no safe place to go to in order for them to be heard. They had no safe space to be in order for them to be refilled. So people have mental health breaks. You have mothers, young mothers with kids that feel as though they don't have anyone that they can turn to. They feel like they don't have anyone that will listen or would even understand what it feels like to be a 15, 16, 17-year-old mother, sometimes of 2 kids, maybe 3, sometimes 4. Just think about that for a minute, how heavy that is. So I encourage you to get out or to get up and somewhere throughout your day today, just don't adult. Just play. Play with life. Go out and jump around, run around, walk around, find you a beautiful track or find you a lake. Feel free to reach out to me. I am a certified peer specialist, mental health, and I am a certified life coach. But I just want to encourage you guys today to enjoy life because it's so worth enjoying. Look at how beautiful the sun is today with the flag just flying right there beside it because we've been. So thank you guys for tuning in for this day of non-adulting. Stay healthy, stay healed, and stay whole.